Hi, 21 years ago, I was looking for something to do to entertain myself. So I decided, well, let me try to write a children's story and maybe I can get it published. Who knows? Anyways, I did. I wrote a book, a couple of them, matter of fact. Um, I sent them off to a publisher. Rejected. Today, I'm out cleaning my office, getting rid of things. I come across this folder and I look at it, and inside is the story. So I said to myself, sometimes you think something is good, but when you go back and you look at it, you find out it really wasn't that good at all. So I decided to reread the story and see just really how bad it was. To be honest with you, it turned out it really wasn't that bad. So what I decided to do is, since I'm looking for things to keep myself busy, is I decided to make a video of the book and throw some pictures in, and who knows, maybe somebody will enjoy it besides myself. Okay, here we go. School closed for the season. Spring turned to summer. It was a time the outdoor sounds echoed the clamor and laughter of neighborhood children at play. But for Nicky, it was as if there would be no fun, no friends, no season of summer. Moving men and moving trucks had carried the weight of Nicky's house to a dreary, slow-wooded neighborhood that Mom and Dad now called their new home. They said it was bigger, so better, but the old still stored all his treasures. Locked away were birthdays, Christmases, all the memories that gave him great pleasure. The old house held steadfast his friends, funny old Mr. Farini next door, his favorite fort hid in the woods. When the moving van and moving men disappeared down the road, Nicky's mom and Nicky's dad went straight to his room, up the furniture, hung his pictures, posters too, situated his toys around the room, and stationed his clothes all askew. With their task complete, they were very pleased. It was a messy room, normally a condition that would make Mom fume. But today she wanted Nicky to feel as though this was now his room. As Mom and Dad admired their work, Nicky came to nose around. Unimpressed to see what that room held, he turned and walked away. I miss my old room, they barely heard him say. I know, Nicky, Mom said sadly. Give it a chance. This room will feel like yours someday. The next morning, Nicky came to sit on the new front porch. Nothing his companion, in all likelihood. No friends, no pets, no friendly stray pets. Not even a stinky old skunk roaming the neighborhood. Sadly sitting, it occurred to him that if nothing is here, maybe something is somewhere else. The thought turned his frown upside down. He shouted to the house, Mom, I'm going to look around. Okay, she called. This is a new neighborhood and you could get lost. Stick to the sidewalk and cross no streets. You will end back here at the house when your journey is complete. Elated to investigate, Nicky skipped to the sidewalk next to the street. Turning left, he raised his arms from his side as if he was a gymnast about to compete. His imagination caused the walk's concrete to become the back of a sleeping dinosaur. Slowly and meekly, Nicky made his way, not wanting to stir his friend's gentle snore. He knew if he did, his ancient companion would awake with a thunderous roar. Nicky's concentration during his excursion caused him to quickly come to the first cross street. Proud that he allowed the dinosaur to sleep, he turned left and continued his trek up the street. With his eyes verifying his feet gently toured upon the dinosaur, his arms propelled out from his side, he stepped toe to heel to toe to heel once more. Then, like the prey of a swooping eagle, Nicky's imagination was carried away, not by a mom bird's hunting food for her chicks, but by a car's horn bellowing, "Get out of my way!" Nicky nearly wandered into the bellowing body dashing down its driveway. The driver said nothing, just glared at Nick. It caused him to recall something his dad had once said. A picture was worth 1,000 words. Nick now knew that a madman's look must be worth 1,000,000. Then, as the car sped down the street, Nicky saw another trouble. In front of the next house, someone was straddling the walk. This could be double trouble, Nick thought. He was huge and mean-looking. He must be 7, maybe 8 years old. The blocking boy's clothes were soiled and torn. On his head he wore a crooked crown. A sash was tied around his middle. At his side the boy holstered a stick he had found. "Halt!" Double Trouble commanded. "You are trespassing through my kingdom." Struck fast with fright, Nicky barely was able to whisper, "I'm looking for a friend." "What did you say?" the king yelled back. "Speak up when I talk to you." "I'm sorry," Nick managed, in spite of his fear. "I'm new here. I have no friends. They all live at my old neighborhood." "No excuses," the king commanded. "You are trespassing. Trespassers pay ransom. No ransom, no freedom." With that, the king reached for the thing protruding from his side. It must be a sword, Nicky thought. A sword made from the handle of something. Slowly, the king pulled his something-handled sword from his side. "I have no friends," Nicky called. "I have no ransom. I had no idea I was trespassing on your way." Nicky promised, "If you let me free now, I will bring back something special another day." "No," the boy king shouted. "You are my prisoner." With that, the king moved forward, raised his sword while taking hold of Nicky's arm. Stepping off, they proceeded along the walk further into the kingdom, Nicky thought. As they traveled, the king spoke about the penalties of trespassing. Meanwhile, Nicky noticed that his captor grasped his arm in a gentle way. The king's pace was slowed by a slight limp in his step. Surely, Nicky thought, if I decided to flee, this king could never catch me. Then he remembered if he ran, he would only be running into nothing. At least with the king he had something. Slowly the king and his prisoner made their way, crossing the home of one house and then another. They approached the lot of one house, so unlike all the others, much smaller, in need of repair, painted in bright colors so many, many years ago. To the backyard, Nicky and the king proceeded. Nicky first viewed only an empty field. He turned and gave the king a curious look, then turned toward the back again. Now Nicky noticed the greenest forest he had ever seen, leaf-covered branches exploding into the sky. their bottom boughs bending to present a palette of flowers, a composition of colors Nicky's imagination could never see. Guided by the king, they entered the forest, immediately coming upon Nicky guessed a fort. The neatest fort he had ever seen. A place very much like the curious little house sitting on the street. Wow, Nicky said, embarrassed that he could not stop the sound slipping from his throat. As the king opened the fort door, to Nicky's front he saw a table and 4 chairs. The chairs were mismatched and in some need of care, but certainly sufficient for such a fabulous fort. To his right there was a couch, stuffing starting to escape from the left side of the cushioned seat. What a great place for friends to meet. A television, trailing from its backside, a wire reaching to a rafter, continuing along a crack in the outside wall, and as the king pointed out, high, high into the boughs of the forest. It's called an antenna, the king did tell. No cable TV out here. Even so, he did get 3 channels very well. What a strange place, Nicky thought. TV without cable. It was as if the king lived in a magical place. The king and Nicky became good friends that day. Nicky told him how he dearly missed his schoolmates from the old neighborhood. The king talked about all the great kids who lived on this street named Orangewood. Joey was always outside playing, except for now, he was sick, but he would be better in a few more days. There was Kelsey, who loved to play ball. She was on vacation now. She'd be back next week, the king recalled. Then there was Willie, the strangest of them all. Willie loved bugs. Bugs in a jar, bugs in the earth, bugs no matter where they are. The king assured Nicky all day long it was a great place to live, this new neighborhood. There were lots of kids like Joey, Kelsey, and Willie, who surely would be his best friends for good. It was a grand day for Nicky. Then, as the sun slipped low in the sky, the king announced he had to go. It was late and he was expected. Nick, too, had to leave. Being gone so long, his mom might be mad, he suspected. Nicky promised to be back the next day. The king said he might be away. Even so, the king told Nicky to remember his new neighborhood was going to be a great place to live. He was going to meet so many new friends and even visit his old. He was positive. As Nicky left the fort, the king stood guard at the door. He walked from the forest, mindful not to tramp the floral decor. As he approached the sidewalk, he had cause for thought. The plot had a spot that held a house that looked a lot like the fort. But did he see it? I think not. Turning to look back, it smacked him right in the face. Nicky glared at an empty lot. Not only was the rainbow-colored house gone from its spot, the forest, which held the grandest of forts, had vanished like memories Nicky had forgot. It was as if the day had not been. The king never a friend. Then it struck Nick like a gust of wind that something of today was gone. Nothing was back. Then a voice visited him. This new neighborhood was going to be a great place to live. He was going to meet so many new friends and even visit his old. He was positive. It was the voice of the king, reminding him of the things they had been discussing. Nicky then realized how lucky he is. Not only will there be new friends of his, he also has a magical friend who helped him today, and at another time of need may help him in the same way.